Welcome to WSPC and WZKY. This is what you see when you first walk in the door. This is our lobby. Over there you will see entranceway to mostly offices on that side. We're not going to go over there because that's just boring offices, but we're going to take you into some studios here. You can see through the window there, one studio, that's the WSPC studio. We'll be going in a moment. And through this window is our production studio. Let's walk in there for a moment. And as we come in here, you can see we've got, of course, you may even be able to hear the difference, carpet on the walls for the sound improvements. And this is our studio. And in this studio, it's set up for production only, which means we only do pre-recorded things in here. We do anything that is not live. We can do some live stuff in here, but generally we pre-record news, commercials. You see the extra mics over here. We'll have interviews from time to time that we record in here, but most of this is for commercial production. You can see our software up here. We've got some of the latest software from Adobe Audition, that allows us to do multi-track recording, which is really handy and makes things a lot easier than it used to be. And this software is the production side of our on-air automation software that we'll be getting into a little bit later. So and we do have the board there is digital, so we've got some of the latest in digital equipment here, as well as over here you can see the good old turntable, tape deck, and CD player. So we've got it all covered. We've even got an old reel-to-reel machine here that doesn't work, but it's still in the rack here in our studio. So this is our production studio, and we're going to walk through here as we go to our next room. And this is just a little in-between room. If somebody comes in live and does something live with Leon in the mornings, we'll sit them here at this table, and they'll be able to see him through the glass and talk to him with these microphones. And behind me you can see we've just got a wall full of 45s. These are mostly records from the 50s, 60s, the rock and roll, the biggest hits, and a good collection of 45s here that we keep on file. Use very occasionally, not as much as we used to, but as you can see in the other studio, we still had a turntable, so we have the ability to pull those and use them whenever we want. So then if we turn and go in here, this will be our main on-air studio for WSPC. As I come around, you can see the main setup here. This is for WSPC. This is on air right now, and this is where Leon does his morning show. Leon does the trading post. Anything that goes live on air we do in here. You can see a couple of different things here. Of course, here is just a processor, some CD players, and of course we've got an internet computer here that's not on right now. This is our on-air board. It's we just updated this, I guess, about a year or so ago. So it's a really nice board. It does really well for us. And this is our automation system. This is, it's called SS32, and it's really neat because what it does for us is not only does it keep all of our commercials that we record in the other studio, it also plays the commercials for Leon. He can do live assist in the morning. We've got a log, has all the commercials on it. He can arrange them however he wants and play those, and it'll also automatically record certain features that we do in the mornings and different things like that. After Leon goes off, we go to satellite automation, and the computer will take the signal from the satellite, and the satellite will send a signal to our computer that'll tell it when to play a commercial break, and it'll play the commercial break, and then it'll come back and go right back to the satellite, and it'll run flawlessly most of the time overnight. So that is a look at our computer system. We have the exact same thing on our other station, 1580 WZKY. We'll walk in there in just a moment. And again, here you see we still do have an active turntable hooked up in this studio. And I'm going to try and take you back here. It's going to be a little bit noisy. We'll see how this turns out in our transmitter room. This, if you can see, with the gauges across the top is our transmitter for WZKY. It's all solid state. It is, as you can see, about the size of a refrigerator. They do make them a little bit smaller now, but that is our transmitter for WZKY. The one we have for WSPC is exactly the same. It's identical to this one, and it's out at our tower site up on 52 North behind McDonald's. Is where the tower for 1010 is. And this is just an equipment rack. It's got all of our satellite receivers and switchers, and that's all of our processing for WZKY. The blue unit there is for our EAS. That's what takes all of our EAS tones, EAS tests. And the gray one in the middle there actually remote controls our transmitter, and it will call me if there's a problem with the transmitter, if it's off the air, and I can tell it to turn it back on. Just some more processors and satellite receivers down there. So that's a look at our transmitter and some of our equipment. We'll turn back around here, close the door behind us, and make our way back through the studio. And now we're going to step across the hall. You can see back in there to the lobby. We'll go back down here across the hall, and this is our studio for WZKY. You can see the board is smaller, it's real similar, but the computer automation looks exactly the same. This board is the same company and everything, it's just a smaller version because we don't do as much live stuff in here as we do in there, so we don't need as many different channels, and it just makes it compact and nice and neat for us. And the computer automation works exactly the same way in here. Actually, even though WZKY is all music, we use WZKY music off of a satellite service. It's actually through Cumulus, and our DJs are actually in Dallas, Texas. And what happens, they do it for a couple of hundred stations, and they play the music, and then they'll come out of the music, and the DJ will say, and that was the Beatles with Help, and then right after that they'll hit a cue on the satellite that'll cue our computer, and then we've got all of our liners and their voices, and then it'll follow that right up that and say, this is 1580 WZKY. So it sounds just like they're sitting right in our studio doing it, and it's just flawless. So if you listen to it, you'll hear that now that I've told you our little secret, our cat out of the bag there. So you'll enjoy that if you get a chance to hear it. So of course you can see we've still got the tape deck and CD players and all that here. We don't have a turntable in this studio, and right here is something very interesting, and we've actually got both of these in the same studio, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to get a full picture here, but I will try. But this setup is for our North Myrtle Beach radio station, WNMB. You can see the sign right there. We actually run WNMB on air from right here in Albemarle, and this is the on-air studio for AM 900 in North Myrtle Beach. We use an internet connection and internet feed to get it there. The automation system there is a little older, a little different, but all the music is on the hard drive of the computer along with the commercials. So everything we do on that station just originates from right here in Albemarle. We eventually hope to get the full station back down to North Myrtle Beach, but right now we've got everything running out of here. I come in here weekday mornings, do a morning show, local news. We do, of course, the local weather and events and happenings, and I've got a salesman that goes down there on a regular basis. He's down there during the week, and he sells, and we do local ads, so we have somebody in the community, and eventually we're going to have the station fully operational back down there, but for right now we're running it from here for convenience sake and to be able to not have the extra expense of somebody down there until we get our sales back up to where they need to be for this station to be its own station. So that is a good look at our studios here at WSPC, WZKY. We'll just walk you back out to the lobby, and thank you for your interest, and we're glad you decided to visit today.